Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my loves. Okay, we're on video. I didn't click the right buttons yet. Okay, let's check the live stream. Hey, girl, hey. Oh, we're live. I just got the notification. Okay, let's go. Hey, welcome to the Death of a Dream podcast. That's right, the crazy podcast that just keeps playing in your ears. You want to stop yourself, but you can't. I know. Lord, help us all as we venture down this path together. I don't know where we're going, but I know there's a reason we all keep coming back here. Please help guide us down the right path. Amen. I just did a prayer on my podcast. Wow. Go me. Okay, so my great thing from yesterday. Let's think. You know what? I have been interviewing more guests because I'm so insanely proud of the content that I'm about to bring you, of the guests that I'm bringing on this show. Like, if I'm not instantly obsessed with them, trust they don't make the cut. But I feel like I want to bring on people that you would want to hear from. I'm really trying to be conscious of bringing on guests according to things you all as listeners have told me hit with you. So if there's something that you're not hearing, or like a guest that you really want to hear from, please go ahead and DM me or shout me out, send me a message, tell me like content that you want to hear more about, because a lot of the things that we talked about in season 1, I'm now bringing guests on to continue that conversation, to kind of back and keep going and bring professionals in who know what they're talking about and can continue to challenge and expand our minds in that arena. So that's who these guests are. That's who we're bringing on. Like, if there was a better job in this world, I don't know what it is. I don't. So that's my great thing. Like, finding these people to come in and impact our community and to keep feeding into all of you and to me and to everyone. Like, that's such a great thing to me. That's not anywhere close to where we were when we first started, and it's just next level. It is. And I couldn't be more here for it if I tried. Couldn't. Don't even want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here for that. Okay. Fine. That's my great thing. Go ahead. Take time for yourself. Recognize yourself for a great thing. I am telling you this over anything else. Like, you will never have enough room to shout yourself out. If you want or craving a community outside of just this podcast right here, go ahead and find us on Facebook, because I want to start creating and doing more work in that space to support one another, to celebrate each other's wins, because I am tired of having to delicately work around relationships where I don't know if it's okay, if I can be excited for the stuff I'm accomplishing yet. My community, the Death of a Dream community on Facebook, is where it's okay to pat yourself on the back, get freaking pumped up about you, all the stuff that you're doing. Duh, that's how we start every podcast. So, like, if you just need someone to freaking be excited for you with, like, no strings attached, with no idea, like just a fierce group of humans who are there to support and celebrate you, then you're going to want to go ahead and join that community, because we haven't been there yet, but we're about to go there. Like, I'm just talking about, like, maybe we all just get together and literally shout out the work that we're doing, because so much of it's unseen, especially if you're just starting in this space. Like, if you want to podcast, or you want to be an entrepreneur or a writer, or you just want to move in your job, so much of that work, so much of that self-work, so much of that, taking your baby steps before you get all the way there is unseen, unheard, and uncelebrated. And I don't want that for you. Like, I want to create things that I needed that would have helped me to keep going, because I can tell you that having just one person listen was enough for me to keep going until I had more. That's what I want to do. Like, if you just need someone to say that you're amazing, because literally sometimes that's all that it takes, I am telling you, you're gonna want to join us there, because we're just on the brink of going there. Like, we haven't even begun to spoil our network with the love that they deserve. So join us there. We're just starting. I'm just starting to brainstorm how we do that and how we move into that space with our community. So if you need that, if you know someone else who needs that, go ahead and bring them here. That's what this podcast is about. That's what this community is about. Let's start going there and celebrating ourselves. Like, the greatest thing you'll ever be is you. And if no one told you that, then we're going to. I can promise you that. If you need someone in your corner, we are here for you. Period. Okay. So, sorry, there's like a fiber in my mouth. I know. That's a great topic to cover on our podcast. Okay. We won't talk about that all day. So today is International Podcast Day. And what an odd topic to bring here. Here's what I'm going to say about that. The greatest thing that ever happened to me was podcasting. For the longest time, I really officially started this journey at 30. Prior to, I think I had bought a laptop around 29 and a half. And I'm like, you know what, Jordan, I just need a place where I can type out my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. I want to put them on paper. I want to start sharing my thoughts and my view of the world. And I want to start doing that work. So I had bought this laptop, and that was going to be like the moment. And I was going to write. And I was going to write. And writing just never came to me. It just didn't. I didn't know what I would write about. And I sort of defaulted to what came naturally. And eventually speaking and talking just kind of rose to the top. And there was this ever-present reality that it was going to be speaking every day if I could. If I could do anything in this world, it would be to just talk. Like, okay, so how do you do that? That's such a weird thing to say. Wow, Hanna, cool. Yeah, just talk all the time. Okay. How do you become a professional talker? Right? And those were kind of the stories that I was telling myself. You can't do that, right? And so then we sort of recommitted to like, okay, how do we do that in the current space in my 9 to 5? How do we make that happen? And I definitely had some opportunities that unraveled themselves through that work. And then I just start to realize that writing is not happening. and no one is giving me a stage every day. So how do I make that happen for myself? How do I take control of this situation because it is seemingly out of my control right now? How do I do this? I feel so called to do this, and I want to talk every day, speak every day. How do I do that? How do I take control of that narrative? How do I start, right? And writing wasn't happening. No matter how much I tried, no matter how much I wanted that to happen, it just wasn't happening for me. And so one day I was like, you know what? It's got to be a podcast. It's just going to have to be, which is amazing because I love podcasts so much at that point. Like, if I could share 1 million podcasts, that's what I would do as well as speak every day. So all of a sudden, this idea to do this podcast came up, and I had sort of bounced around with, who are you? That's so cute. Who are you to do that? Like, really? Okay. Patting myself on the head like, okay, good. You took your confidence pills today. You're going to do a podcast. Okay. And since I didn't know how to do that, and this is the one piece of advice that I'll give anyone who wants to start a podcast, anyone who wants to start thinking about that, is like, you already have everything that you need. Period. Okay? Everything that you need is just starting. Okay? The greatest thing that I ever did was record what will forever be known as the anger files. They are locked away in a vault. It is unlikely that you will ever hear them, but they exist. And that was my kind of 3-month stint of testing whether or not I really wanted to do this. And I woke up pretty much every day and I recorded, and all of that was not for naught, right? Like, first off, I was better understanding what my voice would be. I was bouncing around with like what the time period I might be, and I ended up landing right around a half hour every time. Sometimes some of them are like 45 minutes of straight cuss words. I am not about to lie. And like, I have no issue with cussing as long as there's intention behind it. The only intention behind my cussing was anger. Like, and it further amplified the anger. And so the dark files, the anger files, they are locked away with key. And someday they'll be released, and we'll all just like bask in the beauty of someone authentically going after what they wanted and very vulnerably working through their shit. That's what those files are. It's just me. It's not even a microphone. It's just me pressing record on my computer. It's raw. It's angry. And it honestly led me to a place where I could realistically start a show, and it put me in a habit pattern where even a daily podcast seemed realistic because it just became a part of my everyday, similar to like waking up and eating. Like, it was my lifeblood. And the beautiful thing about podcasting is that anyone could do it. Anyone can come in, and the market by and large is asking for more people to come in, right? And you're going, no, everyone's doing a podcast, Hannah. Like, everyone, there's a reason everyone is. Because the market is asking for it. Because podcasts are probably rising faster than anything else, any other medium, right? And you can just do it right from home. You can tell a story like no other place you ever could, right? Like, it's just different. a podcast hits different than reading a blog, than reading a book. It's like, I feel like I'm looking into people's actual souls when I listen to them. And that goes the same for like, even if I listen to them read their audiobooks, it just hits different. I can't explain it even if I wanted to. So all that's to say, like, maybe you aren't going to start a podcast. Okay? Not many people do or ever will want to. But this is what I want to say. You owe it to yourself to take a risk, right? And I feel horrible every single day when I think about the people who were on a similar path to me that didn't step out and go, nope, this is what I want, and confidently start taking steps forward. And like, I am no confidence master, but I know the things that I want to do, and I just started betting on myself, period. And so my heart hurts for the people who weren't willing to take those same risks, right? And now they're going, oh, she's really getting somewhere. And she really had no strong leg to stand on except for the one she built for herself, right? Like, you could be doing it. You could be taking that step. You could be taking that risk, and you're scared of what will happen. And what I want to tell you today is that if it's in your heart, if it's in your head, it's worth taking the first step. You don't have to have it all figured out. Period. Like, first and foremost, people are about to love you for just being a person. Like, trust me. I told a story about a imaginary badger in my event yesterday. Like, that was the actual topic of the podcast. 'Cause it's just human. Like, that's just who I am. That's honestly what happened to me. And you should also know that when my 4-year-old came crawling into my bed from the foot of my bed this morning, I instantly woke up in fear of yet another badger attack. And I spent most of my day yesterday making fun of this idea that I honestly thought that there was a badger in my vent truss. There are plenty of stories on it. And yet, I still woke up in utter fear when I felt tiny little hands crawling up into my bed. It was just my 4-year-old, but there was still that thought in my mind, even though I had spent probably about 8 hours thinking about how dumb that was and how dumb it was to share to my audience this like super weird thought that I had, right? Like, that's weird. And that's who I am. And that's the beauty of podcasting and storytelling, is like, you can just be you. You can be you. And no matter what you're doing, you don't want to change to fit. Like, if you have to change who you are, if you have to shift your values, if you even have to like change how you dress or appear, maybe it isn't right. Right? Maybe that's a good thing to pass on, because changing to fit isn't going to fit very long. Right? Like, who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do you envision yourself showing up as in this world? Who is that? Who is that person? Like, does it look like what you always imagined? Do you feel happy? Like, when I produce all of the elements of this podcast. So we podcast, we do a live stream to Facebook, we do 2 YouTube videos, we do the podcast, then we do like the graphical representation of what this would be on Instagram, then we do some Instagram lives. I need to start adding in LinkedIn lives. We post to LinkedIn, right? So I produce a lot of elements. And every time, and this used to be something where I just would be like, ew, don't look at the picture of yourself. Every time that I produce the covers for my YouTube videos, every time I look at those, I just have this like sincere feeling of happiness for that girl. Like, I can just tell that I'm moving in the world the way that I want to be moving, and that's so freeing and beautiful and amazing. Like, I never felt beautiful before. We've talked about that in past podcasts, and I don't think it wasn't because I didn't think I was, as much as it just was my inner. I knew that inner beauty wasn't true. Like, I wasn't showing up as the person that I wanted to be in this world. And so I never felt beautiful. And now I look at pictures of myself and I'm just like, that's you. That's true joy. That's true reflection of the person you are becoming. Like, that's amazing, right? And it allows me to show up so real, so authentic in everything that I do. And like, it's ever battle, it's ever work, it's it's continued. It's still reading and researching and learning from new people, and you'll never stop that. But if you can look in the mirror and say, like, this is who I'm supposed to be, that's where I want everybody to get. I don't know what that looks like for you. For me, it looked like building my own possibility, because I knew no matter what I did, no one else's interpretation of where I wanted to go was going to fit. And that's true to me, and that's very specific to my journey, and that's very specific to who I am and the things that I've gone through. That's not everybody, right? Some people fit perfectly in spaces, and I love that for you, and I want that for you. This is not like start a business or you'll die. This is like, find where you want to fit. What makes sense for you? What lights you up? And that may very well look like being in a 9-to-5 and contributing in that way. Like, that's such a beautiful fit for some people. So like, don't just jump on board this, oh, female empowerment, go build your own thing. Building your own thing is not for everyone. What I can tell you from building my own is that it is the biggest self-battle I have ever had and continue to have. Right? Like, hello, we're really not all that far from the Great Depression of leaving my job. Like, we're not that, I don't know, what are we, 3 months now? It's almost October, so almost 4 months. Yeah. But like, sometimes you just need silence in your own thoughts, and the ability to remove yourself from things that aren't serving you to better understand whether or not they can. Right? Like, that's real. That hits different, right? And I don't know where you're trying to go. I don't know what you're trying to do. I would love to, like, please, let's just talk. Let's grab coffee. Because if there's anything I understand in this world, it's how to fangirl authentically. Like, if you're questioning whether or not you're amazing, I'm here for you. I can tell you, you absolutely are. And we can work through those things. Like, and I just want to support you. Like, that's it. I'm not going to sell you anything. I know what it feels like to feel alone. And I don't want anybody to have to go through that. And I also know how hard it is to try to bounce things off of people. And I recorded a podcast last night to try to bounce things off of people and to either be getting too shiny, too nice, like mom love type versions, right? Where you can't really trust it. It's just like, well, it's your mom. I mean, thank goodness she's here, but that's not really the reflection that I need. Or to be getting, like, on the other spectrum, way too harsh of feedback. Like, some of us just need love from a source outside of who we already have. If you don't have that, I'd love to just grab a coffee with you and talk through it. Because sometimes you just need someone to freaking hear what you're thinking and to think through it with you and bounce ideas and then end on love. Because anything you want, you're capable of. Sometimes we just need someone to tell us that. So today, to celebrate International Podcasting Day, because podcasting essentially launched my ability to do this work. Like, this is where I want to be. This is how we're going to celebrate here on the Death of a Dream podcast. Today, I want you to share, review, and comment on someone's podcast today, because most podcasters, not all of them, right? Probably the ones you listen to don't have this, but most podcasters are just kind of there on their own, hoping. Like, if you didn't watch my stories the other day, legit tears, because the first person that I didn't know shared my work. So you think that it's not personal, but it absolutely is. So today, to celebrate International Podcast Day, I want you to share wherever you're at. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you show up at, I want you to share one podcast and explain what it's done for you, right? And then tag that creator, whoever that is, because it makes a world of difference to them. I am telling you. If you haven't done it, do it. Share, tag, and just comment on how it's impacted your life. That creator will be sitting in thankfulness forever. Okay? And then review one podcast. Just review it, love on it, whatever it is. That's what I want you to do today. Share one podcast that has made a difference in your life, because they do. And then review one podcast that you're just loving, that you want to continue to support and love on that creator. It makes a world of difference. And for any budding podcasters out there, if you've ever questioned whether or not you should do something like that, do it. Do it. And the step you take today is just pressing record on your computer. You don't even have to have a mic. There's a mic in that thing, right? Just start recording. Just see if you even like it. Okay? Don't even make an investment yet. Just start recording. Okay. You have an assignment today. You realize that. Go for it. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world.